The recently held Third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation, BRF, in Beijing, marked a significant milestone as China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, celebrated its 10th anniversary, but participation from leaders, particularly from Europe, was muted in what is a setback for mega initiative in the continent, in backdrop of debt diplomacy. Contrary to the euphoria associated with the launch of the forum, the 10th anniversary was a muted celebration, as many of the Chinese investments in Asia, Africa, and Latin America have come home to roost as debts for recipients are rising. Although previous editions of BRF had prominent world leaders, the 2023 forum had significant omissions in terms of attendance and proceedings. While Beijing touted participation of representatives from over 140 countries, the 2023 forum saw several leaders choosing not to attend, including those from Greece, the Czech Republic, Italy, and Switzerland. A distinctive feature of the 2023 BRF was the absence of the Leaders' Roundtable and a joint communiqué that had traditionally concluded previous forums in 2017 and 2019, ET has learnt. Several European countries' non-participation can also be attributed to shifts in their foreign policy priorities or concerns about China's debt diplomacy. Even Central Asian republics where Chinese leaders are striving hard to spread their influence did not attend in entirety, with Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan choosing to stay away from the forum. Additionally, Malaysia and the Philippines did not send their heads of state or government for the first time. But China tried hard to spread its charm offensive in the global south, as evident from the presence of Brazil's Dilma Rousseff, who is the chair of the New Development Bank. President Xi Jinping's speech aligned with these efforts, which mentioned China's opposition to unilateral sanctions of the West, economic coercion, and the rhetoric of decoupling. This speech positioned the BRI as a part of China's efforts to support the global South in its struggle against colonialism and developmental injustice, portraying China as a counterforce to Western dominance, sources explained. Xi Jinping also attempted to position China in the international development framework by claiming Beijing's adherence to the principles of open, green, and clean cooperation, and the pursuit of high-standard, people-centered, and sustainable cooperation. More importantly, perhaps realizing the complexities associated with the implementation of massive and unwieldy infrastructure projects, the 2023 BRF also highlighted the shift towards small and beautiful BRI projects. This approach, now termed small yet smart, emphasizes smaller-scale projects that resemble traditional foreign aid initiatives from the West. This demonstrates China's recognition of the importance of a more diversified approach, which will allow it to play on its digital strength, green development alongside smaller-scale ventures, sources said. China's commitments at the BRF come in the backdrop of the notoriety BRI has achieved in creating unsustainable debt burdens for recipient countries and contributing to environmental degradation. A report from Boston University has revealed that nations receiving Chinese finance often experience significant debt distress, while development projects funded by Chinese companies pose higher risks to biodiversity and indigenous lands. Specifically, it adds that China oversees a fleet of fossil fuel power plants that emit around 245 million tons of carbon dioxide per year, contributing to climate change. Other critics have pointed out that numerous BRI projects have failed to materialize or have led to prolonged issues, as they disregard underlying problems identified in feasibility studies conducted by international organizations. Issues like insufficient readiness in host countries for large infrastructure projects, corruption, and environmental destruction associated with Chinese investments have also accentuated the problem, sources alleged. The European states' deal at the G20 summit is a game-changer on the global stage. Indeed, the recent G20 summit held in India saw European nations making an unprecedented move. They agreed on a deal that has the potential to reshape the landscape of global politics and economics. This deal, which involves significant investments in infrastructure, technology, and green energy, is a clear signal of the European states' commitment to sustainable development and global cooperation. But why is this deal so significant? Well, the answer lies in its potential impact on another global project, China's Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI. The BRI is China's ambitious plan to build a network of trade routes connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe. It's been a cornerstone of China's global strategy for the past decade, but it's also been subject to criticism and pushback. The European states' deal at the G20 summit has the potential to counterbalance the influence of the BRI. By providing an alternative source of investment and infrastructure development, the European states are offering nations a choice. They are creating competition, and with competition comes higher standards, better practices, and more sustainable development. This has significant implications for global politics and economics. It signals a shift in the balance of power and influence, and it could lead to a new era of global cooperation and competition. It's a bold move by the European states, and it has the potential to change the game. For China, this deal could present challenges. The BRI has been the flagship of China's global strategy, and any competition could potentially derail its ambitions. But it's also an opportunity. It's a chance for China to step up its game, to improve its practices, and to prove that the BRI is a sustainable and beneficial project for all involved. So, what does this all mean? It means that the European states' deal at the G20 summit is more than just a deal. It's a statement, it's a challenge, and it's a game changer. The European states' deal at the G20 summit could potentially derail China's BRI ambitions. What does the future hold for China's BRI ambitions? As we delve deeper, we realize that the Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, is at a crucial juncture. The recent happenings at the G20 summit and the deal struck by European states have thrown a wrench into the gears of China's grand plan. The BRI, a project of epic proportions, now stands at the crossroads of global politics and economics. But the road is not as smooth as it once seemed. The European states' decision to strengthen their ties with India instead of China has sent ripples across the world stage. This could potentially lead to numerous challenges for the BRI, as countries may now be more wary of aligning with China's ambitions. But China, known for its strategic maneuvers, may already be preparing for this. It could respond by revising its approach or by strengthening its domestic economy to reduce dependency on the BRI. Alternatively, it could foster stronger ties with other nations to counterbalance the European states' shift. Yet, as we analyze and speculate, the future remains uncertain. The chessboard is set, the pieces are moving, but the game is far from over. China's BRI ambitions may face significant challenges ahead, but only time will reveal the true impact of the G20 summit and the European states' deal.